Hi everybody, my name is Mackie and I'm going to be doing another player analysis today. Today I'm going to be looking at Dignitas Tides of Time. Now, he plays the 4 role for Dignitas, which means that he's almost the bottom of the list when it comes to priority of getting farms. So number 1 has the highest priority for any farm, that's typically AUI, and then number 2 is the next, number 3 is the next, and so on down to number 5, who is the hard support, gets no farm at all. So Tides typically plays the 4 role. I find that in a team 4 and 3 can get a little bit messy, often they switch it up. So that means that he's either playing secondary support, or he'll be playing initiator, sometimes he plays in the jungle. For this particular game, I'm going to just skip ahead a little bit. He actually plays as Wisp, playing as a secondary support role, so they run a 2-on-2 kind of lane strategy, so that's 2 players in each of the side lanes, and he basically just supports for most of the game, but we'll see how he handles that situation. I've got a couple of other games I'm going to look at. I'm just going to skip through them a little bit, and sort of skip these pauses, of course, and we'll see how he performs throughout them. So this game comes from the EG Raid Call League. Some of these games are a little old, I'm not sure. This one was back in the group stages, so it is a little bit out of date, but I don't think anything that we're going to see has been taken out of the game since then, really. It's all the same sort of play style. So what you see is there a dual lane here with their stand-in playing Templar Assassin and Tides of Time on Wisp. They're up against Fishbone from Pulse, and what Tides is going to do now is just punish Fishbone anytime he tries to get near to the lane. He's also going to spend a lot of time coming back here, as you see, stacking the jungle camps, and pulling them into the lane to pull the creep wave back. Make sure that Fishbone really doesn't have a chance to get any experience at all. As much as possible, he wants to count him out. If he can, he's also going to try and stay out of the experience range of the carry, so that the carry's getting full XP from the creeps he kills. Tides is getting XP from the jungle creeps. Meanwhile, what we can see in our minimap is that Fishbone is actually trying to do the same, pulling back this creep camp. Tides is going to be trying to stop that as well. So there's quite a bit of work that goes on in the jungle for this particular role. That's just part of the nature of him being on the top lane for Dire. You can get away with a lot of these pulls. It's a little bit different on the bottom lane. The same sort of thing does happen. Tides tends to be a little bit more aggressive than Way Too Sexy. He typically plays the number 5 role. You see him looking for ganks a little bit more. He often gets a little bit more farm, so you'll see him initiating and generally taking part a little bit more in the team fights. So this lane play does go on for quite a while. What I'm going to do is just fast forward a couple of minutes. You see that what happens is there's this constant attempt by Fishbone to move forward and take the experience, and Tides will constantly be trying to push him back. Fishbone's also trying to pull that creep camp in and drag the lane back a bit for him. So I just want to get forward. Whoa, excuse me for the slightly messy bit. I'll just skip ahead here using this. So now we're up at level 4. It's starting to look a little bit more like they could maybe do some damage to this Brewmaster. They want to keep Brewmaster away from getting level 6. He's one of those heroes that really spirals when he gets his ultimate. So it's about now they really need to act, because he's up at level 3. He's not doing too well at all, but if they're not careful, the lane's kind of pulled forward enough now. He's got enough experience to do a little bit of damage. So if we go forward just a little bit more, you see what actually happens is we should see some of the other players from the Radiant try to come in, I think. So we see Tides still working hard to keep Fishbone out of the jungle. And now we see this attempt at a gank, using that tether and getting that stun. We see a couple of ports coming in, and suddenly this is turned around. So Jakiro tries to go on TidesofTime, Time zones him out, then pulls straight back in using that tether, gets the kill up against TA, with TA. So they managed to take out Jakiro. Didn't quite get the Brewmaster they were going for. A little bit of quick reactions meant that they managed to pull that away. I think Tides is really good at seeing these situations. So he's very tight on seeing when he needs to pull back, and mostly I find when he can get right into the fight, when he sees that advantage. Wisp is great for that, because Wisp has this real gap closer with tether. Drags him right in. So you see right now Templar Assassin is getting attacked. We can see that in the Templar Assassin looks like he could be in real trouble. Gets the stun on Chaos Knight as he pulls through with the tether there. They managed to do him quite a lot of damage. Brewmaster almost goes down. Big tether forces Chaos Knight back. Almost gets that kill on both of them. Doesn't quite pull it off.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And this kind of hero works great for Tides. This ability to be in one place, drag yourself all the way across the map. I'm just going to fast forward through this pause. You see that. So we're watching player perspective right now. That means that this is what Tide's actually looking at. You see he's using this pause to move around the map, check what's going on. And this is a big part of pro play, I think. Being able to keep an eye on all the other lanes, watch the mini-map, but also be able to flick around and actually view what's going on. So right now, obviously a little bit more nervous about the situation because he's sticking with Templar Assassin. He's not sort of hanging back. He's well aware that the lane is pushed out. So he needs to stay together with Templar Assassin and keep her safe. Okay, a couple more pauses in this game. It's a little bit of a pause fest.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So there's a couple more things I just want to go through with this game. So I'm just gonna double speed it for a little bit. So we see this gank attempt come in again. Templar Assassin in trouble. But again, that tether pulls him right in. Shadow Shaman doing a lot of damage to Tides, and he starts to run. Unfortunately, Chaos Knight does get him, but look how far extended Chaos Knight is as a result. And he still manages to run away. Templar Assassin tries to get him, can't quite get it, but I see Wisp respawn in just a few seconds. All these players from the Radiant are still right up here. You see Jakiro in the jungle. Wisp ports right back in. Uses that tether again to go through, and suddenly it's a gank attempt going the other way. Jakiro goes down, Wisp's in trouble, but that tether stun pays off. And there we go, it turns into a double kill.
They'll never find your...
So, being aware of the situation, being aware of who is around and what kind of abilities you can use to get into the game. I find Tides is a very versatile player. You'll see him playing a little bit of everything. Like sometimes he's in the jungle, sometimes he's supporting, sometimes he's pulling off these ganks, and that means that he's really got the scope to turn around a situation like that. A more support-heavy player, someone who's thinking more in the support mindset, might have just thought, "I'm going to stay out of that fight." But Tides saw the opportunity,
Radiant's top tower
move right in. Just want to. There's a little team fight we can talk about a little bit. It's around here. So Tides tethers in, and then he moves straight out again. You see that he sees those wards, and he knows he can't afford to take the damage. He's quite weak in this team, so he's always around the edges of the team fight there. And that's a great way to play a hero like Wisp. I haven't really been able to show you anything about the way Wisp teleports. I mean, he does port here, but he just goes back to base. Wisp's a great ganking hero because of the ability to teleport around the map and take someone with him, but
Radiant's top
in
tower
this
is under attack.
particular section of the game, wasn't really used, but I'm not too worried about that. I don't want to focus on the hero, I want to focus on the player. So, relative to that, move on to the next game. Which I'm just going to skip ahead. I have a feeling this one was, yes, it's an all pick, so I'm going to skip right into the action. What we see is, I'll just go back to player perspective. Tides here is playing the Undying. Immediately they move right down into the jungle looking to get the early wards down, any early kills they can catch. We're going to see a tri-lane here with AUI playing on the Naga Siren and Way Too Sexy playing on Lina. Tides, as I say, playing on the Undying. Now, in this role, they're playing on the hard lane. They're up against another tri-lane, so it's a little bit defensive. And Tide's role in this is really to be a little bit more tanky than the other two. He's going to be looking for opportunities to get right up in the enemy's face, cause trouble as much as possible. Here he's just going to keep an eye on the ward and try and block it, but not going to be any kind of contest there. This game actually comes from the Premier League, not the raid call. So it's a little bit more recent than the last. So early on in this lane, we see the supports quite far out. They're in the jungle up here, and then they come in close when we get into lane, when Howie starts to be a little bit more threatened. So their whole goal with this tri-lane is going to be to level up AUI. They want him to get farm, they want him to get the experience. But they've got a tri-lane to contend with, so they know it's going to be tough. There's a lot of warding going on, they really don't want him to get ganked. See Earthshaker just edging in now, so forced to pull back a little bit. And what we see with this tri-lane is most of the time one of the supports is staying very close to the carry, one is edging out and trying to widen their circle of influence on the map like this, trying to push people out of the way of the carry as much as possible. They don't want to be sapping too much experience from the carry, so they don't want to be hanging around him too much, because if the experience goes three ways, it means everyone's running a little bit further behind. Undying lets him really just spam decay, steal strength off everyone, and get an awful lot of health very early on, and that gives him the power to really muscle people out of lane. And that's what he's going to use. He's got the damage to back him up from AUI and Way Too Sexy, but so he's just got to stay in there and look for opportunities. And here comes one. They managed to get the stun on Anti-Mage, so they're going to go and try and do some damage. And here, Lina's way back, and Undying is right in the middle of it all. Really looking for this opportunity, and he sees it. He sees Jack Hero is too far forward, the stun hits, pops that tombstone and gets the kill. So we've got a bit of teamwork going on between the two supports, and that's all important in a tri-lane. This is what you're looking to do. In the quiet moments, they can pull back a little bit, let AUI get farm, but whenever any action's going on, they're really looking to set something up and make something happen. You have to capitalise on a tri-lane, because if you aren't doing anything with it, you're just wasting time. Of course, hopefully your other lanes running solo are doing well on top of that, but you can't rely on that. So here we see Tides is way out in the jungle. He knows that Lina is watching AUI, is keeping him safe. So he's way out looking for ganks, keeping an eye on things.
Stop it, we said.
Really wants to stop anyone from coming around here, getting around through the jungle. Earthshaker gets caught out of position here, and they see their moment, so they jump on it. They really need to jump on it when they can. I mean, we see Lena die there. But in doing so, in getting so far forward to see Lena catch, to get Lena, they end up losing Jakiro. I can't remember where else Shaker gets caught out in that fight, but he did get caught somewhere. And they end up doing a lot of damage to Anti-Mage. So this is a really aggressive stance that they're going to try and keep up as much as possible. Now, I'm not going to talk too much more about this tri-lane. I think it's a good example of one, but you'll find that I think that the gameplay from this is fairly standard. It's well executed, and they do a good job of it, but there's not too much to talk about. So I'm going to move on to the next game. Okay, finally, I'm going to go through a game versus We Has Asian. This is from the Raid Call League again. This was quite a long time ago this game happened. So the metagame is a little bit different. Even it wasn't really that long ago when you think about it. I think we're talking... we're still on 2 bans for this, so it's not quite so far. It's only sort of a month ago, but we're still seeing Lycan get first ban, so it's interesting how much the game changes. But in this one, in this game, we're going to see, just skipping ahead a little bit, we're going to see the Enchantress pick, and that's going to be Tide's hero. He's going to play Enchantress in the jungle.
Prepare for battle.
Slightly different to the other games in the way he plays it. Obviously, he's looking for a lot more farm. He's trying to get out of the jungle and gank, keeping active, and that just shows you how much Tides is capable of moving around the map, doing different things, always playing a different role. So, just fast forwarding to this, we see 3 of the Dignitas heroes looking for a fight.
30 seconds.
They do spot. I think they spotted the rest of the enemy team coming up, but they're in a 5, so they were very wise to back away from that. Stay out of trouble for the time being. In this case, we see that Way Too Sexy's taken up the job of buying all the wards and placing them. Currently running off to put one down near the Roshan pit. And sometimes Tides will share that burden. It depends on the kind of lane they're doing. If they're playing a tri-lane, Tides will probably buy wards as well as Way Too Sexy. In this case, he's playing a bit more of an aggressive role. So just waiting for the jungle creeps to spawn. He's just going to sit and wait. I'm just going to fast forward just a little bit, just double it up to ×2. So we'll see that really for the first few minutes, all he's going to do is farm. It's all that's important right now is to farm the jungle. But he does see that there's some enemy players right up in the jungle. The Aoi on Lone Druid is probably getting a little bit of hassle, so you see he sends his creep in. He's got this Ursa, and we also see that Chen has the same creep. We've got a little bit of a kind of a pet battle going on. That's some quite good control from them both, I think. Sort of both trying to keep each other from managing to get around and do any damage to the carries they're protecting, while still not wanting to lose their creeps, losing too much time to farm. And eventually, Tides will go back into the jungle. He'll just leave this Ursa wailing away on
was
Chen.
my first conversion.
Chen ends up taking quite a lot of damage. Unfortunately, Way Too Sexy goes down during that fight. Perhaps Tides should have gone in and tried to do some more damage, but decided to focus on the farm instead. That's a difficult choice that you have to face sometimes in this kind of situation. Tides knows that he needs to get a lot of farm. That's It's one of his big roles for this particular game is to get a lot of farm and manage to be a meaningful factor in the game later on. He doesn't want to completely neglect the top lane, but it has got 2 players on it. He does need to leave that alone a little bit. And they're getting some hassle now. You can see on the minimap, they are getting some hassle. Tides has decided what he's going to do is keep farming for now. And now he just sort of moves over a little bit. Sends his creeps in. Just a little bit of harass, but he doesn't have the backup there just yet. So he's just really keeping them busy now. So I think what happened there was Chen stole.
Come get healed.
I think Chen stole the Wildkin, and then Enchantress took it back. And they're using that Wildkin against them to drop this incredibly painful tornado. Massive hassle to play against. So I see that Tides is still playing this really aggressive role, and he's adapting to the situation very well, I think, and that's something Dignitas are really good at. You'll notice quite often they're very late to commit to their roles in lane, because they're seeing what the opponents are doing. They're free to move around, and very good at reacting to what's going on. So Tides are spending a lot of time supporting this lane and being here ready. He's still going to try and keep up when he can. He's also, look at this, he's all over the map. He manages to take out that rune without getting too much harass even.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
And that's quite a lot of control to have. Obviously, Mid must have told him that he wasn't going to be able to go for the rune, so you expect him to come down. There's quite a bit of communication that needs to happen for that to take place. Keeping an eye on the top lane. He knows that that's going to push in again shortly. He's still taking time to farm up the jungle when he can. Now we see he's had his quiet moment. He's going to move back and look to stay active here and ensure this lane doesn't get beaten. I guess I wouldn't say that Dignitas played a sort of 4 protect 1 strategy ever, but AUI is definitely a key part of any strategy. They're always looking to get a big farmed up carry. I mean, it's definitely true that the other players are very active in the game, so yeah, it's by no means sort of, some teams have 1 star player and the others just seem to be sort of waiting until that player is ready. And Dignitas aren't that team at all. So I'm just going to fast forward a little bit now.
Radiant's bottom
I'm
tower is
just
under
going to skip
attack.
forward a few minutes. Actually, let's just do that instead. So now, where are we? TidesofTime, still getting quite a bit of farm. It's doing as well as AUI.
Going into hiding.
Trying to be active on that rune again. Unfortunately, missing it this time. And sort of looks at this point like the team's going to group up in mid. We've got the 2 supports there and Invoker.
Radiant structures are
But
fortified.
nothing really is happening, so Tides takes a moment to go back to farming.
Radiant's bottom tower has been denied.
So there's a really good awareness of when he can get away with sitting in this jungle. And so the top lane's pushing in at the moment. So Tides is going to have to react to that very shortly. It's just 2 players there. This game is incredible for sneaking. Right, sneaking's currently up at 4-0 As a solo Tide Hunter, I believe. Yes, he's on his own and just has an absolutely stunning lane. So here we go now. So Nature's Prophet ports in and manages to catch out Way Too Sexy. And Tides of Time. Now this is the kind of thing I would never go in. I'm certainly not a pro, so it's not really a surprise. But up against these two heroes, he realises he can do an awful lot of damage to Nature's Prophet and gets the kill solo almost. Fog just coming in at the end. And then Juggernaut taken right down on the half health as well. So he's got this awareness that he can. Perhaps it's skill. Perhaps it's just that he's got the courage to go in on it. It's hard to say, but times it perfectly, and he does it just right. He knows that he can do an awful lot of damage to Prophet at the point that he's at. So he goes for it, takes out Prophet, forces Juggernaut back, really punishes Weehao's Asian for that push. And that's the kind of thing that makes a team think twice about pushing again. So it's a big, powerful psychological win, I think. So now using the Wildkin very well to farm. It's absolutely brutal that he can get away with that. And he sees the team. You see the team are grouping up now in mid. There's quite a bit of action, but it's not quite time for Tides to come out of the jungle. I think he knows he's got a moment before anything really kicks off. So he just grabs another creep. So I'm not sure, he won't be able to see the Chen is sitting in mid just yet. He'll be aware that Morphling's there. And I think he's just sort of waiting to see what happens while he's standing around here. I think it takes quite a lot of discipline to not enter a lane when you see that there could be trouble, could be something happening. I'm just going to jump forward a little bit more. So about here, the team again is grouping up in mid now. And there's a couple there. They're really pushing the tower. And it looks like Disruptor's heading down there as well.
Radiant structures are fortified.
See that Radiant pops the glyph there to keep their tower alive. And Tides is still choosing to sit in the jungle. He's now sat on 2,000 gold. He's choosing to hang back, and he's really trying to soak up more last hits. They've got the top 3 last hits in the game. If we look at net worth, like Tide Hunter's way ahead. Sneaking's having an absolutely fantastic game. 5-0 and 2. Lone Druid's up there at the top of net worth as well. Invoker. And Enchantress is actually only sitting a little bit back. So he knows his team can handle it. And he's just keeping that lead up, keeping the pressure on. Now he joins
Radiant's
them.
middle tower
It's only now that they decide they want to push that lane.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
And this is a really good move. Like, rather than trying to push the tower early, they consolidate what they've got. Now look, they've got this strength to run in. They catch Chen out straight away, no problem at all.
Now your fish food.
Dire structures are fortified.
And they straight away go on to attack that tier 2 tower. And they're not going to take it down right this second, but you know, they start damaging it, they get the kill, they get the first tower. That's an excellent push. So I'm going to finish up there. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea about the way Tides plays. the kind of roles he fulfills around the map. So thanks very much for watching. Cheers.